You have to admit that death can sometimes be around every corner. No one can ever predict where this meeting will take place in a warm home, on a dark and deserted street, or maybe, which certainly seems unlikely to many of you, even during a family dinner. However, there are exceptions to every story. Canny Ong's story is just such a story. Is this really possible, you ask? How could a simple family dinner end in a brutal murder that would shock all Malaysians and even lead the local authorities to review current legislation? Let's take a look at this case. The full name of the heroine is Canny Ong Lay King. She was born in 1974 in the Malaysian city of Ipoh into a large family. Even though the city is considered a remarkable place for tourists, Canny herself dreamed of something else, a prestigious job, traveling, and everything else a young woman might aspire to. Of course, all this couldn't just fall from the sky. She had to strive for her dream, and she understood that. First, Canny graduated from high school with a gold medal, then went to university in Hawaii, where she obtained a degree in economics. The beginning was made, and it was necessary to develop further. Already independent, she moved to Los Angeles, where she got a job in an advertising agency. The City of Dreams gave the young woman self-realization as a specialist in her field. It was there, in 2001, that Canny met Brandon Ong, who, like her father, was born in Singapore but had moved with his family to America as a child and was now considered American. Young Canny and Brandon married quickly and moved to the neighboring city of San Diego. But only 2 years into their life together, there was an accident. Canny's father fell ill with liver cancer. He was going to have serious surgery in Malaysia, and it was unclear whether he would survive such an operation. Canny quickly packed her things and, on the 1st of June, leaving her husband in America, flew to her father. Fortunately, the operation was successful. The disease receded, and the doctors assured that Jin, as Canny's father was called, would live a long time and would surely see his grandchildren. Canny exhaled with relief. Finally, it was safe to return to her beloved husband and her favorite job. She booked a morning flight to Los Angeles and, in the evening, invited her extended family to a farewell dinner at their favorite restaurant called Monty's, a place they often visited during holidays when Canny still lived with her parents. During dinner, Canny's mom suddenly didn't feel well. Her caring daughter offered to drive her home. In the parking lot, Canny looked for a parking ticket in her purse for a long time. When she couldn't find it, she decided she must have forgotten it inside the car. She asked her sisters to watch their mother and ran to the car. She was gone for a long time. Her mother even decided to go to the car herself, but Canny's car was not there, and neither was her daughter. One of the sisters started calling Canny's phone, but it alarmingly turned out to be switched off. The family knew Canny very well. She couldn't afford to just disappear. Even if something had happened, she would have called or warned them. But what could have happened in a closed parking lot, just 300 feet from her family? Canny's father went to the security guards and asked them to show the security footage. At first, there was nothing strange. His daughter was walking toward the car, checking her pockets and purse for keys. But then they noticed a stranger moving behind her. He slowed down and sped up to match her pace. From another camera, the guards and Canny's worried father watched her car leaving the parking lot, but behind the wheel was a man, most likely the one who had followed her. Canny herself, strangely, was sitting in the passenger seat. It looked like a kidnapping. The family immediately called the police. Credit must be given. The Malaysian police began searching for the missing woman right away. A couple of hours later, a highway patrol noticed a car matching the description. In order not to frighten the possible perpetrator, the police patrol stopped the car for a routine document check. The car stopped. The driver was visibly nervous but smiled and handed over his license. Canny, sitting next to him, tried giving the policeman signals, but unfortunately, he did not notice. However, the kidnapper did, and he pressed the gas pedal to the floor and sped away. The police tried shooting at the car's tires, but to no avail. However, they had obtained the driver's documents, 27-year-old Ahmad Najib bin Aris. Let me tell you a brief biography of this man. Ahmad was born in 1976 and grew up in Moore, Malaysia. He was the second of 4 siblings. He studied until the 3rd year of secondary school before dropping out, needing to work to support his family. In 1998, he moved from Moore to Kuala Lumpur. Later, he married and had 2 children. According to acquaintances, Ahmad was seen as a hardworking and responsible man. Now, back to the case. Later that evening, a young man approached the police and told a strange story. During dinner at a roadside cafe, an unknown man had approached him, saying he was traveling with his wife but had punctured a tire and needed help. The young man agreed to help, but outside, he noticed bullet marks on the car, and in the front seat, he saw a frightened woman, hardly looking like a wife on a carefree vacation. The husband fiddled with the jack but did not change the tire, then returned it and left. The police realized it had been Canny and Ahmad. That was the last time Canny was seen alive. 3 days later, Canny Ong's burned body was found in a sewer manhole near a construction site. The autopsy showed that she had been stabbed multiple times in the stomach and later strangled. Nearby, her car was found with a punctured, shot tire and bloodstains in the back seat. Shockingly, despite having Ahmad's documents, the police went to his house only after finding Canny's body. And Ahmad was at home, living as if nothing had happened. As if he hadn't stolen a car, kidnapped a woman, or fled police gunfire. Later, forensic tests confirmed that in addition to Canny's blood, Ahmad's DNA was in the car. In Malaysia, murders, especially brutal ones, are extremely rare. According to the criminal code, murderers face the highest punishment, not life imprisonment, but the death penalty. It was unclear what Ahmad hoped for, but he confessed to everything, probably hoping for leniency. During the trial, he claimed that he had mistaken Canny for someone else, that they laughed together about it, and that later, during a consensual sexual encounter, Canny had asked to be strangled. His lawyers argued that her death was an accident, part of a sexual fantasy gone wrong. However, this story fell apart. Canny had stab wounds, proving resistance and violence. The defense crumbled completely. The reality was different. Ahmad saw Canny alone in the parking lot, threatened her with a knife, forced her into the car, fled when confronted by police, drove her to a deserted location, assaulted her, stabbed her when she resisted, and finally strangled her. He then dumped her body into a manhole and set it on fire with gasoline. Moreover, Ahmad was linked to 4 prior rapes, but the victims had been too afraid to report him. Finally, on the 23rd of February, 2005, after several years of trial, Ahmad was sentenced including 10 lashes. However, this did little to ease the pain for Canny's parents. Behind bars, Ahmad tried to appeal and even begged the state head for a pardon, but he was refused. 13 years after Canny's murder, on the 23rd of September 2016, Ahmad was hanged in prison. This case was high profile in Malaysia. People were not only horrified by the brutality, but by how easy it had been to kidnap someone from a crowded shopping center. In response, Malaysian authorities increased CCTV coverage, hired more security guards, and even introduced parking zones specifically for women. Still, it is tragic that it took the sacrifice of an innocent young woman who had traveled tens of thousands of miles to see her sick father to bring about such measures. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Many shocking stories are ahead.